April 30th, 1943. What if a dead man won a war he never lived to fight? The chill that would later freeze the world in the Cold War began not with the roar of tanks, but with the whisper of deception and a corpse floating in the tides off Spain. Operation Mincemeat remains one of the most haunting acts of wartime intelligence, an operation so audacious and unsettling that it blurred the line between life, death, and duty. British intelligence officers, desperate to mislead Hitler's armies, found an unclaimed body, a homeless man named Glinder Michael, and turned him into Major William Martin, a fabricated officer of the Royal Marines. Dressed in a uniform, a briefcase chained to his wrist, his pockets filled with love letters, theater tickets, and fake official documents, he became the perfect illusion of life. When Spanish fishermen discovered his body on that April morning, German agents immediately took interest. The false papers he carried suggested the Allies would invade Greece, not Sicily. The deception worked flawlessly. Hitler redirected his divisions, and the Allied invasion of Sicily succeeded with minimal losses. Yet beneath the victory there was something chilling. An anonymous man, unknowingly drafted into war after death, had altered the course of history. He was the ghost who fooled an empire, the man who never was. But as the smoke of World War II faded, the battlefield changed shape, shifting from beaches and bunkers to laboratories and locked rooms. In the quiet halls of atomic research, the Cold War found its first true traitor. Klaus Fuchs, a brilliant German-born physicist working under the Allies, smiled and calculated equations by day while passing blueprints of the atomic bomb to Soviet handlers by night. The magnitude of his betrayal wasn't measured in bullets but in balance. The balance of power between two superpowers now armed with annihilation. It was said that when Fuchs handed over those secrets, he didn't just deliver papers, he delivered the ghost of Hiroshima to Moscow. His espionage triggered a chain reaction that birthed decades of fear, where children practiced nuclear drills under their desks, and the world slept knowing a single misstep could turn cities into ash. The horror of Fuchs's act was intellectual, invisible, and irreversible. He didn't just betray a nation. He rewrote humanity's future in radiation and silence. Then came the era when betrayal wore suits and badges. Aldrich Ames joined the CIA in 1962, appearing loyal, disciplined, and dull, a man no one would ever suspect. Yet behind those gray eyes brewed greed and resentment. In 1985, drowning in debt, Ames made a choice that would echo through graves. He began selling the names of America's top agents to the Soviet KGB. Within months, those agents were rounded up. Many executed, their bodies vanishing into unmarked pits. Each time Ames received his payment, it was stained with invisible blood. He dined lavishly while widows wept for men whose faces were erased from official records. His betrayal was so deep that the CIA didn't uncover it for nearly a decade, by which time US intelligence in the Soviet sphere was gutted beyond repair. He wasn't a spy. He was a slow-motion disaster wearing an American smile. And then there was Robert Hanssen, the man who outdid even Ames in quiet treachery. Joining the FBI in 1976, Hanssen was a devout Catholic, a family man, and a cybersecurity expert. No one could have guessed that this unassuming bureaucrat would become the most damaging double agent in American history. For over 22 years, Hanssen passed classified documents, nuclear war plans, and counterintelligence data straight to Moscow. He used dead drops, concealed packages hidden in parks or beneath footbridges, communicating in coded notes that spoke of loyalty, not to God or country, but to control and corruption. The horror of Hanssen's betrayal wasn't in violence, it was in patience. He played both sides of the moral spectrum, praying in church by morning and selling secrets by night. When the FBI finally captured him in 2001, his arresting agent described his face as blank, almost lifeless, like a man who'd already accepted he was a ghost. These were the unsung horrors of the Cold War. The wars fought not with guns, but with lies and whispered names. Every defector, every leak, every coded message carried a scent of dread. Intelligence officers spoke softly, slept lightly, and trusted no one. Many lived knowing that a wrong handshake could be their death sentence. Even allies became enemies overnight. Files were burned, names erased, and double lives became the norm. In the dark corners of Berlin, Vienna, and Moscow, spies vanished into shadows, their bodies never found, their identities forever disputed. Entire careers ended in whispers. Entire families were destroyed by secrets they never understood. Behind this unseen war was a psychological terror unlike any battlefield could produce. The world balanced on an invisible edge, an era where the apocalypse could be triggered by information, where silence itself became a weapon. The horror wasn't just nuclear, it was human. It was the realization that one trusted man, one intelligent mind could quietly destroy what millions fought to protect. And that fear lived in every agency, every embassy, every operative's reflection in the mirror. The Cold War was less about who had the biggest weapon, and more about who could control truth. The man who never was showed how a dead man could win a war through lies. Klaus Fuchs proved that intellect could doom humanity. Ames and Hanssen revealed that loyalty could rot from the inside out. Together they formed a hidden pantheon of war's strangest heroes and darkest villains, figures who proved that sometimes the deadliest weapon is trust itself. So here's the haunting question that still chills every intelligence officer who reads their files. If one corpse, one scientist, and two patriots could reshape the fate of nations without ever firing a shot, then in the long shadow of the Cold War, who among us can we ever truly trust?